moving on to the next thing we are discussing today is Netflix. Netflix released a report recently and
Yeah.
it gave us some figures that got our head turning. Babe, what's going on?
Okay. Yeah. So Netflix basically released their socio-economic impact report from 2016 to 2022, which is the amount of time they've been in Africa, and they gave us some very interesting figures, such as how they've been able to improve the film industry, majorly in Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. The impacts they've had a lot of impacts. From according to the report, right, in terms of GDP, GDP growth, um, people that have gotten jobs, people that the quality of you know films on the continent, and I think one thing that really stuck out to me was how much they've invested so far, and they've invested $175 million from 2016 to 2022, and they gave us some breakdown of how they shared that money among the I think
Countries.
the three major countries where they've been doing a lot of work, which is South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. So I think South Africa got the lion's share. South Africa got 71% of that money. That's around 123 million, if I'm not mistaken. Nigeria got 23 million. And Kenya, they not even tell us how much they give.
It's an emerging
I'm so
market.
sorry to. I hope they won't come for me like they did for Chingodere. Yes, but I think it shows how because they said they're just starting out. They're still going to do a lot more, but I think they're focusing on what I believe. I could be wrong, and I mean, if you're watching this podcast, you can also share some of your insights with me. I would really love to. But I believe that South Africa is probably the most robust entertainment film industry out of the three, right? Which is why they've had to spend a lot of money, a lot of money in that country.
And
Uh,
the
yes,
irony is Nigeria actually
yes.
released.
Nigeria releases more. They licensed more movies, right? In Nigeria, I think over 200 movies, over 230, and then in South Africa it was around 176 or so, right? That they licensed, right? But you now notice that there were more commissioned movies in South Africa. There were around 16 commissioned movies, right? Which is what we call Netflix originals, right?
Mm,
In Nigeria, it was lower.
mm.
I don't think it was up to five, right? It was between three and five, right? So, which is why they spent more money. I think those Netflix originals, they
Yes.
really put, it's not
Because
like
yeah,
licensed movies where the person has made their movie, brings it on Netflix,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I get.
So there was even this particular movie at One Piece. I don't know. I'm getting that right.
One
Uh,
Piece.
yeah, One Piece. A South African movie, which I think the budget was $54 million,
Mm.
right? And then when you think about it, $54 million is already more than the entire money they've spent in Nigeria between 2016 and 2022. Like that's
Mm.
just
But let's
insane.
not lie. The commissioned movies, the Netflix originals,
The South African,
The Nollywood Netflix originals were a bang.
bank, okay.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at the ratings
Mm.
in the report,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
they were a bank. They did really well. They did really
yeah,
well.
and the
The
one that was a series was a limited series.
yeah,
Meanwhile, the
Blood
South African
Sisters,
Blood
Blood
Sister,
Sisters.
yes, and but South Africa had like Blood and Water. Is it Blood and Water? Like season one, season two, season three, which I've watched. But I
Yeah.
don't know why.
So
But
yeah, so I think Anikula Blood Sisters. I can't remember the third Nigerian movie that did really well, but overall, South Africa had the most movies that
Mhm.
really went global, and yeah. But it's really interesting, and I'm excited to because I was having this discussion, and I was like, we've seen streaming platforms like music streaming platforms, make African music, really go global. Where we can't really say it was majorly music streaming platforms, because with music it's easier. You are not. It's not as if YouTube Music or Spotify is coming to say, "Hey, take 10 million, go and
Uh,
produce it." The
doing
musicians
your
are doing their
craft,
thing,
mhm,
and these people are just helping them. And then
promote
there's
it.
also social media. But I think we can replicate the same thing because we don't really have that funding, right, when it comes to film in Africa
So we
generally.
can churn out
For Nigeria, I
numbers.
think I know more for Nigeria. We don't really have that money. But there's this and the competition will make it even better because Netflix is bringing 175 million. Imagine what Prime Video bring.
Yes.
So for how
Imagine
long?
what Disney Plus will bring. For how long? I don't know. Like how much would they bring?
No.
Like
For
will
how
they
long?
continue doing this?
Yes. So
Yes, as
they
long
They
as
will.
they find the market viable.
So
find
that's
the
a very
market
good
viable?
question. That's a very good question, which is a question I'm going to answer in an article coming up, which is yes, Netflix says we invested 175 million, but how much did they really make within that amount of time? Were they just putting in money
It's a long,
and
it's a long.
So
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think it's a long term investment.
Of course, but it's a long-term investment, right?
But
But for you to justify that investment, you also need to be looking at like the people you're investing money in. So yes, South Africa got 125 million or so. The I'd like to see how many Netflix subscribers are in South Africa. So you would now start looking at how much are we making directly from these people? Because when they were talking about impact, they were
Yes.
talking about direct impact, indirect impact.
yeah.
So
yeah.
directly, how much are we making from South African
Mhm.
movies? How many times were these movies streamed? Now, if you're investing in a place, and okay, let's say, look at what happened with Iroko TV. They were investing in African movies or Nigerian movies, and they realized that the US was paying them a lot more. So now
Customers are
they've changed their pricing strategy. They've changed every single thing to appeal to those guys. Would that be the case for Netflix? I think that would be the case
Okay.
because
I disagree. I disagree with that actually, and that is because I think Iroko TV does not have the kind of they are not as deep pocketed as Netflix. That's why I said Netflix can afford to do that long term investment
they can
where they
afford
might
to.
not. They
Yeah,
can
yes,
they can afford
use
to.
other
Will
thriving
they? Will
markets.
they? That's another question that I can't
That's the
answer.
thing.
I can't answer.
You
Okay,
can afford to
maybe
do-
I'm talking as an insider, not like insider in Netflix. I mean, as in Nigeria, as a local,
Okay.
right? Looking at the kind of reaction that their movies get,
Mhm.
as Netflix original movies get, right, from Nigerians,
Yeah.
and the fact that they've entered into the Nollywood space, that they're already collaborating with stars, they're
Yeah.
collaborating with producers. So it's not something that you just say. They should have seen something in this market before they say they are going into it. I think that is the thing with big tech companies coming to Africa, right? They are not expecting to get returns immediately, but they see prospect. And if they have to keep at it for a long time, for them to start getting the dividends of what they are doing, I think they will do it.
Well, not to contradict myself because I still believe they are in for the long run. Whether they will
How long
continue,
is that long
well,
run?
that long run will take. For me, I would bet that long run is. I mean, how long have they done now? They've done how many years is between
6 years or so.
6 years?
Yes.
I think they will still have to do probably another 6 to 10 years
More likely
before
20.
those
We are being
dividends.
realistic.
If we are being okay, let's say 20.
Let's enjoy
Right.
it while it
But
lasts.
the thing is, just because they are big tech doesn't mean they can't make mistakes, right? Some people
course.
can decide to say, "Oh, this market might boom."
This was a
They
bad.
put 1 billion,
yeah.
and I mean, Yahoo, all of them.
Right. Okay. So we are hoping this run doesn't stop, because I really love
Yeah,
what
Nollywood
Netflix
is-
is doing with Nollywood.
Yeah,
I
Nollywood
really
is
love
also
it.
doing well.
And I'm hoping this continues for a long time.